If you've got a website with any kind of decent traffic, but people are not turning into customers, chances are you're making one of these 5 mistakes. Number 1 is no call to action. So basically, your website should exist for one specific purpose, whether it's to actually get someone to pick up the phone, make a sale on your website, or to get someone to give you their email address. That is a goal. That is your call to action you want every single person to follow when they come to your site. But one mistake a lot of my clients make is when I ask them what they want their site to do, they just say they want something to where people can come check them out. That is a huge missed opportunity and a pretty big mistake. All right, now I promised you a fix, and here it is. I want you to figure out exactly what it is you want people to do on your site. And it's easy if you have an e-commerce site where you're selling product. It's a little less easy when you're really trying to get people into your physical location, or you're trying to get them to pick up the phone and call you, something like that. But figure out what that one action is, and then everything on your site should be funneling them toward that goal. So that's persuasive headlines, subheadlines, supporting text, images, and especially the call to action button. All right, now the second way your website might be losing you customers, you've made your site all about you. Now this is really common actually. I know, like when you're making a site and you're responsible for all the content on the site, it's really hard to fill up all those pages without resorting to talking about you and your business and what makes you so great. You think there's an intrinsic value in that your customers are getting, but it doesn't really work that way. When people come to your site, they just want to know one thing: how can you help them? So you need to take the focus off of you as a company and reframe it into what does your customer get out of the deal? Not only that, what do they get and what does that do for them? All right, and here's the fix. Figure out what keeps your customers up at night. What are their pains? What can you solve for them? That's what we call a pain point. So you want to address each pain point and exactly how you can save the day. Also, rework the copy away from features and into benefits. Try to think of as many pain points as you can, as well as potential objections your customers might have to going with you as a company. Then address those and you'll win over a much bigger chunk of your audience. All right, the third way your website might be losing you customers is you're not taking into account the people who aren't ready to buy yet. As many as 96% of the people coming to your website today are just looking. They're researching whatever it is, they're not ready to buy. So, we talked about a call to action, which is fantastic. You also want to address the people who are thinking in the back of their mind they're going to come back later, but truthfully, they will probably forget unless you give them a reason to come back. Take, for example, a plastic surgeon's office. Now, the average plastic surgery patient takes 144 days to make a decision, and yet most offices, their big call to action is schedule an appointment today. That's great for the few that are ready to do it, but what about the other people? All right, here's the fix. Get your prospects' email addresses. And before you put up a simple sign up for our newsletter form, think twice about that. Again, nobody is really interested in hearing about you as a company, so there's no motivation for them to sign up for a newsletter. You need to think of something that you can give away in exchange for that email address that will be enticing enough to make them actually do it. If you're a restaurant, maybe it's giving away a free dessert. Or in the case of the plastic surgeon, maybe you don't give anything away other than say, if you sign up today, we'll send you all these deals in your inbox so you'll always know what the specials are at any given time. So once they've given you their email address, now essentially you have what we call a hot lead. They've been to your website, so obviously they are in the market for whatever it is you're offering. So you can set up an email marketing campaign or something along the lines of a Facebook retargeting campaign. And if you do this in a non-spammy way, you can really keep your message in front of your prospective customers throughout their entire decision-making process, so they remember you much more than they remember any of your competitors when it's time to pull the trigger. All right, so the number 4 way that your website might be losing you customers is a lack of trust signals. So, human beings are naturally wired to avoid risk. Think about it. When's the last time you bought anything online or ate at a restaurant without looking for a couple real reviews first? It's probably been a while. I do that all the time. And guess what? Your business is no different. People want to know that it's been vetted, that other people have used you or your services, and they like what they got. So if you don't make any use of reviews or testimonials, you're really missing a big opportunity, and people are likely to be scared away by the lack of trust. So here's the fix. Find some of your best customers that fit your ideal customer profile and ask them to leave you a testimonial. You can either get a written one, in which case, if you do that, I would definitely recommend putting their picture alongside it on your website. For whatever reason, people will assign much more trust to a testimonial that has a photo next to it as opposed to one that doesn't. Or if you can get a video testimonial or two, even better. Okay, so the last way your website might be losing you customers is a bad or outdated design. So when we think about a bad design, you just think like it's ugly or it's out of date, it's not really current, but it's much worse than that, because if you have a website that looks really bad, it will actually drain the credibility out of your business. A good design will not only make you look much more professional, but if everything's laid out in such a way that it keeps people engaged longer, they'll stick around your site longer and they're more likely to turn into leads or customers. And a big part of this is if you don't have a website that's actually optimized for mobile, you're missing out, because as many as 65% of people looking at your website are probably doing it from their phones. So you're losing a big chunk of your audience this way. And also, not to mention, Google continues to penalize websites that are not mobile friendly. So the fix is to work with a designer or agency who not only has a good eye for design, but also usability, knowing where to put things, where to lay things out, to really maximize the conversions and everything we've been talking about here today. So find someone who knows that and can give you a nice responsive website as well. All right, there you have it. Those were the top 5 ways your website might be losing you customers. And if you like this video, thank you for subscribing. I'm going to be sending a few more videos like this every couple days so that you can really get a handle on how to get more customers and leads through your website. And these tips are 100% actionable, whether you choose to work with us at the deep end or on your own or with somebody else. We use these tips every day and we know them to work. And if you'd like to talk more about your website specifically and how we can get results for your business, feel free to contact me using the magenta button on this page. Hopefully you found all these tips helpful, and there's definitely more to come, so stay tuned.